We're waiting for you, brother.
You're on. You guys are on. The audio's on.
Okay, brother. Put the phone down. Abel's getting mad.
Spicy. Episode 6.
I just know he wants us to start the show.
Hang on, let me say it so Abel can understand. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis.
Episodo say so.
Abel, a ver.
Shut up.
Entiendo. All right, let's start the show. How do you say ready in Spanish?
¿Estás listas? You probably don't know that song.
Oh, no, sit down. Sit down. We're just playing. We're playing.
We need the
Where you
remote
going?
control.
Ah! Yo, we're going to get demonetized again. Damn it. We keep doing this to ourselves. All
You
right.
can't say this stuff.
What's up, guys? Welcome to this episode of Beers and Breakdowns. In this episode, we're doing one of your guys' favorite series for us to review and watch.
Back with Band of Brothers.
Band of Brothers. An amazing show. We love watching it.
I'm glad
Probably
you
one of
guys
the
picked
best.
this as one of your favorites.
Yeah, me
Instead
too.
of some of the others. Terminal list.
Terminal list. Technically, you guys like... Yeah, you know what? Technically, you guys like Terminal List, but you know what you never asked for? More Terminal List.
True. Always ask for Band of Brothers and
Band
SEAL
of Brothers
Team.
and SEAL
And I'm
Team
okay
is
with
what
it.
you guys like. And those are great shows. And we, Ominous, Dominus, both of those. But one that you love to just stick it to me about personally, about how I don't like Terminal List and how I'm wrong, but you never ask for it again. You never want to see him again. All right, for this show, let's start with what I think is one of the best part about all these shows, but we don't show it, is the intro with the men talking.
When we left for Bastogne, we were short of equipment. We didn't have enough ammunition. We didn't have enough warm clothes. But we had confidence that our higher military authorities would get to us whatever we needed.
And there was a ridge with a tree line. We were dug in on that ridge. Germans knew right where we were, and they really gave us a shellacking.
Well, like in Bastogne, we're down to one round per man there for a while.
Jesus. That's deep.
I love those
rough.
stories, dude.
Yeah.
To watch those gangster men talk about their experiences is so surreal and so amazing.
And how long ago was that? And it's still just as vivid as like yesterday.
Yeah. Every night we go to bed and it's cold. I'm glad I'm not in Bastogne. What a wild thing to say to your
Jeez,
wife
man.
every time it's cold, dude.
Can you imagine how bad that was?
Yeah.
One round per man at one point? That's
insane.
dire.
These guys are so cool. And I don't know if it's because of the generation or the way they were raised, but it feels different now. It feels like we have a lot of people that have been through a lot of combat now in the past, 20 some years of being at war, but we talk about it different than they do. Maybe we'll talk about it the same when we're their age and we've had, just life, and we realize that life is more than our egos and our bravado, and it's about family, and it's about, the whole entirety of life. But the way they talk about it, I just feel so much more wholesome than how a lot of us talk about
Right.
war now, and how we try to exploit, the heroism of it. And part of me thinks maybe those guys would have done the same when they're in their 30s, but now because they're in their 60s, it's in 70s, it's different. I don't know. I hope.
Yeah,
But
it's tough to say.
I'd rather be like them, I guess, than to be egotistical about war and your experience and the bravado and the egoism.
I don't think they call them the toughest generation for nothing,
It's true. They earned it.
Nixon, you got anything to add for General McCauley?
General, yes, sir. General, I took a walk on a line at about 0300 last night. Couldn't find the 501st on our right flank. I tied it in with a squad from our 2nd platoon, but, sir, we've got some considerable gaps in our perimeter.
I don't have enough people, sir. You're spread too damn thin.
Hold the line, Colonel. Close the gaps. This goddamn fog.
Like, why do you
Thanks.
even ask, dude?
Yeah.
Why do you come ask us what we need and how we're doing and all this just to tell us to suck it up and deal with it?
I'm glad to see that the whole dog and pony show has not changed.
Yeah.
Like still to this day, people are like, oh, we feel like the troops don't really adequately communicate with the higher elements. He's like, because of crap like this.
Yeah.
Like you ask us what we need, tell him what we need, and then he's like, okay, cool. And that's it, basically.
Yeah, he says, he said, we don't have enough people to close the gaps. So what does the officer say? Close the gaps.
Close the gaps.
What a douche
All right,
thing
thanks,
to
bud.
say.
I'll
Like,
go back over here and
let me
continue
go.
giving it myself.
Let me go dig up some people and maybe poop some people out of my butt so I could add them to the line to close the gaps. Like, why even come ask us
Yeah.
what we need? if you're gonna deliver bad, I get it that not in war. There's times no good news is coming, but don't come ask us. Just come say, hey guys, I don't really care how it's going.
Yeah.
It's only gonna get worse.
Don't put on the facade to make yourself feel better.
Right. It's like, I apologize, but it's only gonna get worse from here. So I'm not even gonna ask how it's going. Just do your best. And all the leadership would be like, Roger that.
Yeah.
But instead, you're like, give them a little bit of hope that, hey, what do you need? I need this. And then go, no.
Like, oh, we're actually going to get some help.
Yeah,
no,
never
kid.
mind. No, you're not.
No, you're not.
What a douchey thing to say.
How'd your morphine, guys? I'm good. They peppered my helmet. They knocked out. Morphine. Here, take it. Where's Mikado? Christ knows.
Just shows the giant gonads of medics.
Yeah.
And it's like, people don't realize all the time that, like, sometimes non-combat MOSs have to take more risk.
Yeah.
And the safest place to be when you're getting shot at like that in artillery is in that hole, because the explosions go
Underground.
up and out. So the best thing you could do is stay in your hole and hope that the odds are in your favor that it's not going to land in your hole. And so to be the medic running around, you're increasing your chances of catching shrapnel from an explosion like tenfold.
Yeah.
And you have to do it, because if you're going to be a good medic, because I'm sure there's some coward medics in the history of medics that would rather just stay in the hole, wait for the explosions to be done, and then go check to help. But this guy's like, nah, they need me now. They're calling for medic. I'm going right now, even though it puts them in exceptionally higher danger.
Yeah, like you said, to be a good medic, because in situations like this, time is of the essence. If somebody's got an arterial bleed or something like that, it could be seconds.
That's a good
Like
point.
if it's a major artery, it's not going to be, that person won't be alive by the time you get over there. So you've got to get up there, and it's a shitty situation. You're flying or running around, and bombs are dropping. That's crazy.
So you're a medic. You came in
Yeah.
as a medic. So that's another question that I had is in the beginning, the guy said the medic saved my life by applying a Berets
Yeah.
to the right position, which is morphine. So when we think of morphine, we think of it as solely pain relieving and to get you through the terrible situation so you can get evaluated. But the way he made it sound is almost like the morphine had some kind of blood constricting.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he was mixing things up or misremembering something, but I don't remember it working like that. And to be fair, I was a medic for a couple months before I went to selection. So my biggest thing was treating a guy that got busted in the head with a shovel. So we weren't giving morphine. But I do know one thing that's cool or different about morphine then and now is now it's controlled. Like, when your medics had to get it, they had to sign it out. Anytime it got used, they had to justify why it was being used. Back then, I'm sure they were just giving it out like candy. Because
Yeah.
it's one of those things like,
Super addictive.
yeah.
Feels amazing. Don't
Right,
get it
right,
twisted. There's probably plenty of soldiers that took that thing out and said,
yeah, and which
Just
is
for fun.
Which is why nowadays medics got to sign for it,
Yeah.
and if you can't account for anything like that, you get in a lot of trouble.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know the whole Berets thing that he was talking about.
He said
putting it in a key
he applied
location.
it in the key location. So maybe, who knows? Maybe it could have had some blood restricting
or like a
side
coagulating
effects or
effect, I don't
coagulating
know.
side effect that helped reduce the bleeding. Or it could have been that because he placed it because he wasn't hesitant to be like, and not looking at it, placed it in the arm that was about to basically not connected, in which it would have not worked, and that was the only one he had left. He was aware enough to say, okay, I'm going to place it nice and high,
Maybe.
just in case that arm doesn't have the blood flow.
Yeah, so who knows?
Who knows? But
Crazy.
all cool stuff and things that, this episode just highlights the talent of these medics. Speaking of giant brass bulls, that's a good segue for this video. Talk about our new clothing sponsor. Are they our clothing sponsor?
If you got
Abel's shaking his head.
if you got giant brass balls, these shorts will stretch out to hold them.
There you go. There you go. All right. If you have giant brass balls and you need some shorts that'll hold those balls, we have just the ones for you. Barbell Apparel just came out with their new line of shorts.
Well, it's the new covert short.
Covert shorts.
This thing's got super stretchy. It's got hidden zippered pockets. I've got reinforced webbing on this pocket for like a flashlight or a pocket knife, and they're cargo shorts without looking douchey. So
Yeah, they look awesome. If you guys don't know, we're pretty happy with our influx in barbell apparel. We love it.
if you've seen me anytime in the past month, I've always been wearing only solely barbell.
Completely full and covered in barbell, and I couldn't be happier. It's the perfect gym fit. I love barbell apparel. We think you guys will too. So if you want some nice shirts, some nice clothes, go check them out. And I would 100% recommend these shirts and paired with their joggers. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Dean. This is what I want you to do. I want you to take someone and work your way over to the 3rd Battalion, all right? You know what we need. Bandages, plasma, whatever you can beg, you beg. All right? And give me some goddamn scissors. I can't get any. You get yourself a hot meal too, huh? Go.
So in training one time, we had to dig foxholes, and I hated it so much. But in this situation, I would dig my heart out.
You're going to keep digging.
I'm going to keep digging. I'm going to have the deepest foxhole you could possibly imagine. But there's a downside to that, too, because you want to be able to get out of it as quickly as possible.
Sure.
So if you really spend the time, if you're going to be dug in for a long period of time, you could make a foxhole really, really nice. You know, you could dig to the point where it's deep, it's wide, you have plenty of room, you could have stairs.
Yeah,
leaving,
multi-tiered parts.
Multi-tiered parts. We used to do that because like we had weeks to do nothing but dig your foxhole.
Right.
So you start getting creative. And if you're lucky, you're not on frozen ground, which these guys probably were, and they probably had a hell of a time digging it just deep enough to even get their bodies in.
Yeah.
But if you have smooth dirt that you could dig it out, again, you could do multi-tiers, you could do little shelves in there to set your stuff, you could do grenade holes. So the whole idea behind a grenade hole is you dig a separate hole as deep as you possibly can. So if suddenly you're getting attacked and a grenade falls into your foxhole, you grab it and you throw it in that hole, and then it explodes in the hole, and you could potentially be safe from all the shrapnel.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's a shitty situation anytime you're grabbing a live grenade.
Yeah.
And like, get it away!
And throwing it in a hole. So, you know, even to the point of a foxhole, there's a lot to think about. Another one to think about is rain. So you don't want to just dig a hole and then have nowhere for water to go, because now you're going to be sitting in your foxhole just getting filled up with water.
It's going to turn into a spa real quick.
Right. You're going to be sitting in a nasty freaking dirt spa. So you'd have to also think about that and dig away a route for your water to go. So you could have a little sinkhole that can carry a certain amount of water from a rain, and then your foxhole stays relatively dry. So grenade holes, water hole runoffs. If you're going to sleep in your foxhole, you want to make sure that your angles are right, so that way the water runs off and you're not waking up drowning yourself. There's a lot to think about when
It's not
digging
just a hole in the ground.
It's not just a hole in the ground. There's a lot going on tactically with that hole.
That's interesting.
Where you dig your hole is another huge tactical thing to think about. You know, for when you're going to do stand to in the morning, how far do you want to crawl out of your hole to do stand to? And if anybody doesn't know what stand to is, essentially there's a point from nighttime to daytime, that transition. And way back in the day, they determined that was like the best time to attack because you couldn't see silhouettes on the horizon, because the sun is offering you light so you could see and attack your enemy, but it hasn't come up enough to where everyone's silhouetting themselves. So that's why we have stand to as the sun's coming up, to make sure that we're not being overrun. And if I'm not mistaken, that comes from Rogers Rangers in his defending against the Indians.
You know, I think that is the most explanation of stand to I've ever heard.
Is it?
Anytime in the military you ask about stand to, all we ever got was that's when the French and Indians attack. That's it.
It's like
Every
no
time, that's what I
explanation of
got.
why, though.
And it wasn't until watching Napoleon and you saw that's when Napoleon attacked was during that same time frame. And you're talking about Rogers
Rangers.
Yeah, and about that too. So it makes sense. But my entire life, all I've ever been told was that's when the French and Indians attacked.
Yeah, and that's a big thing in the military. Is like you get the information that you need, and it's
Don't
like,
worry about it. Just do it.
Right. It's like, why are we doing stand to? Shut your mouth.
Yeah.
and do stand to. And what stand to is you're getting out of your foxhole and everybody's getting on your security post with complete focus. Again, to protect yourself from the most likely time that you would be attacked and overrun. And still to this day, we get our dumb butts out there, regardless of all the advancements in the military. We're still doing Indian level of tactics to get out there and protect ourselves on stand to.
It's like freaking fire guard.
Yes.
Like we've got security cameras, we've got smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, but you're still going to be doing fire guard, which is where all throughout the night, one person has to be awake in your bay at all times. So you're sitting there for your hour trying not to fall asleep. And then you always have that part where it's your turn next and somebody's above you and it's like, hey, you got fire watch. I always
you just
hated
hope
that.
they're wrong. You're like, are you sure?
No.
Maybe I'll. Like,
That
nah, I don't want to
sucks.
do it.
Are you missing something? Home.
Let's get the dance done.
Toy, show me your feet. You watch the goddamn line, Nicole. Where are your boots? In Washington, I'm General Taylor's ass. Believe this. I can move better in bare feet, Doc. What happened? Took them off drying my goddamn socks. They got blown to hell, okay? Well, what's your size? 9? Just like it.
That's crazy.
Took his boots off and to dry his socks because trench foot is massively affecting everybody out in these freezing temperatures. And trench foot in World War I at least killed thousands of soldiers. So trench foot's a real deal. And if you don't get your feet dry, it could lead to gangrene, you could lose your limbs, and it could lead to death. So it's a big deal. So he's taking his boots off to dry his socks to prevent trench foot so he can not die out there. And then his boots get hit by a mortar.
Now you're just barefoot in the dead of winter.
Barefoot in winter.
That's
freezing.
miserable.
And where is he at, mind you? I mean, you guys may not have picked this up, but he's at the OP, so observation post. That means he's out. He's not with the guys who are close and they could stay warm together or they could, ask around. He's out by himself, which is a further position away from everybody else as almost like an early warning, watching the front line. To the point where he was talking about their hot food, right?
Yeah, he could smell it.
He could smell the enemy's food that they're eating. That's how close the OP is to the enemy. So he's out basically just sitting in a hole, freezing to death. Barefoot. And what does he say? He doesn't want to be taken off the line.
Yeah.
Because he's afraid that the doc is going to tell somebody he doesn't have boots and they're going to pull him back and he's going to have to leave his boys and not be able to fight with his boys. And that was a reoccurring theme in this episode is how hard some of these guys fought to not leave their men. It blows my mind.
It's that brotherhood and selfless service.
Yeah. I can't imagine today people fighting to stay in combat. I feel like so many people would be like, yeah, get me out of here. And these guys were like, I'm not leaving my guys.
I mean, especially like this, man. He's barefoot. That's got to hurt. I mean, it gets to a point, I'm sure, where everything just goes numb, but you're in a bad spot if you don't have shoes. And you're willing to risk your limbs, at the very least, just to stay out there.
Right. And imagine
That's
psychologically.
hard mofos right there.
Even when the pain subsides, psychologically looking at your feet, knowing that they're turning black.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm going to lose my ability to walk. If I survive this, I'm not going to be able to walk anymore.
Yeah.
Dude, these guys were so tough. It's insane.
Medic!
He's getting a Jeep. Oh, come on, Doc. Look at this, my leg. Easy CP. Easy CP. This is Baton. This has been hit. Oh, say it again.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's my bone.
This dude's bone fragments are coming out of his leg.
Picking pieces out and throwing them away.
Picking pieces of his bone and throwing them away. And what does his private say? Save your morphine. I can make it.
Yeah.
He knows that they're short for morphine on the front line, and he knows he's about to get pulled and sent back to camp to get seen by medics and fixed up. Unfortunately, what he doesn't know is that back at camp, they don't have anything either.
Huh.
So if he knew that, he might have taken the morphine.
Right,
Because
yeah.
back at camp, there's no morphine either. But how gangster was that guy?
Ooh.
He's a private.
Looking at the guy rip the bone pieces out of his leg.
And say, no, I got it, Doc. Save your morphine for these guys.
You know, one part I pick up on is he's like, "Oh, it ain't that bad, it ain't that bad." Which, in the grand scheme of injuries, you know, your leg's broken, it's really not that bad. But going through medic training, one thing they taught us was when guys get hit in the lower region, especially like right around here, the big thing is guys always ask like, "How's my junk?" And it was one thing where he was like, "No matter what, tell him it's good." He's like, because if you reach down, say a guy's unit, his member is blown off or it's like split in half or something, if you tell him that, that's gonna massively affect him. So he's like, even if like if it is blown in half or like one of their testicles is shot off or something, it's like just tell them it's fine until they get back.
You
But
lying
on the
sons of
X,
bitches.
do you want to know that?
No, I don't want to know. But I also want to believe you.
You're like, how is it? You just hold it in your hand, like, oh, it's fine. Here, hold this.
Yeah, it's all good.
Like, what'd you just throw?
Nothing. But that's a good point. Is I mean, just heart rate alone, you could be causing them to bleed out faster by telling them, "Hey, it's your pee-pee's blown off," and they're like, "Oh no!"
Right.
And all of a sudden, the heart rate goes up
trying
even
to keep 'em
further,
calm.
and you're pumping their blood out even quicker. So
Exactly.
You could potentially be saving their lives by lying to them, but that's unfortunate.
I mean, it's like a little funny thing that they taught us, but yeah, it does actually, it's rooted in fact. So.
Yeah.
Stay with us. Stay with us. Hold on. Charlie, stay with us. Look at me. Stay with us. Look at me. Hold on. Hold on. Don't move, Billy. We're coming back. Go. Hey, Johnny, here. Just hold on.
That's gonna be the saddest part of the episode and the hardest reality of their situation is at some point it made tactical sense that you had to leave somebody behind. And that's got to be brutal. And you think about PTSD, imagine knowing that you had to leave a guy
Looking you right in the eyes and you leave him to die.
and he's hoping that you're going to come back and pull him to safety and you just left him to die. And what are they going to do?
Yeah.
If you go to grab him, he's completely covered by machine gun fire. You're only going to put yourself in that situation also. So sometimes these men had to make that choice and say, you have to be left.
Yep.
For the greater good of everybody else, we have to leave you.
So that reminds me, another part going through medic school is, well, the first thing you do is you have to make sure that it's safe. You can't rush out like you were talking about right there. And the example they showed us was from Iraq. There was a Marine, I think it was a Marine, they got hit and he went down in the street and somebody ran out to grab him. As he's grabbing him, he gets shot. So now there's two of them. Somebody else ran out to grab those guys, then he gets shot. Now there's three people and they're like, if you would just stay back, like the guy's been hit, we know it's a shitty situation, he's out there, but we need to control this area first. We need to lock this down so it's safe so that we're not causing more problems. Because now, instead of losing one guy, we might have just lost a quarter of our squad, you know? And so it sucks because you get that moral, like, you're my boy, you just went down, I want to save you. But also, what kind of burden is that going to bring on everybody else?
I'm gonna be honest with you, when the Terp got shot, I stepped out to put cover fire for him, not even thinking I would get hit. I think that sometimes that we don't realize that we get this kind of like superhuman feeling about us that it won't happen to us.
Yeah.
And even though I just watched him take a bullet to his leg, I stood out with 100% confidence that I could shoot back. I could hold down suppressive fire, get him in, and be perfectly fine.
Everybody thinks it's not going to happen to them.
Yeah.
Like you said about the captain in here, it's like, I don't need this morphine. I don't plan on getting hit. I mean, everybody feels that way until you get hit.
Right. There was no reason that I shouldn't have got shot that time.
Yeah.
But I was like, I just didn't think about it.
And that's the crazy thing. You do that a couple times and you start to get more and more confidence. And then maybe you do something stupid and really get taken out.
And then the time that they were shooting at us from the wall.
Yeah.
And so after that happened, like once the hard part psychologically is that once it's happened a few times, your confidence may go up in the moment, but then all of a sudden all of those things hit you like a ton of bricks at once. And you realize just how lucky you got and how you should have gotten shot. And then also like, that's when all the trauma starts to kind of like compound on you.
Oh yeah.
So he's like, it's almost like Travis, the EOD guy. He risked his life so many times. I've watched him do some stuff that if his command knew he was doing, he would have got kicked off because he was risking his life like insanely. But I watched him do it and do it and do it, and almost like he became invincible in his head. But then I also watched him get home and realize what he had done hit him all at once, and it like destroyed him. Like mentally, it just overwhelmed him with how much risk that he took. And it's just a weird psychological thing that happens.
Yeah, that's wild.
Because all of a sudden you have to come back and be like, wow, that was stupid.
Yeah.
And wow, I did it so many times.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Demanded our honorable surrender. Save the USA encircled troops from total annihilation. The German commander received the following reply. To the German commander. Nuts! For giving our country and our loved ones at home a worthy Christmas present, and being privileged to take part in this gallant feat of arms, we're truly making for ourselves Merry Christmas.
First of all, what an officer thing to do.
I can't help but think nuts hit a little different back in the 1940s.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, you're
But
right.
it's like, to come give us your Merry Christmas wishes, like we're freezing to death.
It's tone deaf.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's a good way to.
It's like that's something that you write from your nice, warm, safe office after you've had a nice hot meal.
Right.
These guys are out here. Not one of them's lost his boots. They've lost countless friends. They're hungry. They're surrounded, and you're gonna give them this fake motivational hoorah speech. Like,
Shut
get the hell out of here.
F up, dude. Nobody wants to hear your BS motivational speech.
Yeah.
How about you come in and you want to be motivational? You say, I know you guys are freezing. I know you don't have enough ammo. I know your life sucks right now, but damn it, just hold on.
Yeah.
Don't give me a Merry Christmas from General McAfee. Generals make the mistake of thinking that we give a damn that they're generals.
Right.
That's always their mistake. They think, oh, the men are going to see that the general's looking out for them. I don't care about you. I don't care about your 1-star, 2-star. The more stars you have, the less I give a damn about you.
Mm-hmm.
The higher up in rank, the less I give a damn about you. And I know the less you give a damn about me. So let's not pretend. Let's just call it what it is.
You don't care
Stay
about
in
my
your stupid
Christmas.
little office, eat your warm meal, and leave me alone
Right.
with the men that I have to survive this with. Don't even talk to us because you're not helping.
I think, like you said, the best thing he could have done is identify with them, kind of
Mm-hmm.
like that, instead of this, which we already said is like completely tone deaf. And like you said, that's the problem that they make. They don't identify or connect with the troops.
Yeah.
Everything is just this fake facade, and it's
Politics.
exactly you need
After
to.
a certain rank in the military, you're 100% a politician.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then the other thing with this scene is you're now starting to see the PTSD kind of come over and the shell shock come over the medic. He's overwhelmed. He's hit his limit, and he needs a break. And I don't think that's in any way cowardice of him at all. This dude's a total badass. He's a total hero. It happens to everybody. Everybody has their moments of highs and lows, and that's why we rely on each other. So like if I'm having a high, you're having a low, we balance each other out. I bring you up. And that way, when my low comes, you'll be at your high, and you could do the same thing for me. So to look at this medic and say like, oh, he's hitting the 1,000-yard stare, every single one of these soldiers at one point, with all the trauma that they're dealing with, would have hit that point, hands down. Every single one of them.
And for him, like we talked about in one of the earlier notes, he's out there running, leaving the cover of safety to go help these guys. He doesn't have a gun because he's a non-combatant. And so if you don't know about that, if you have that red cross on your arm, you're listed as a non-combatant. So you can't be armed. And according to the rules, you also shouldn't be targeted by the enemy.
Yeah. But
Doesn't happen.
we know that you're putting a big fat target on your back.
Yeah, just like nowadays, if you look like in Iraq and Afghanistan, if you saw the medic, the dust-off helicopters with the big cross on the side, they could not be armed. That's why they would always have escorts. And then on the Air Force side, you had the PJs, who were also medics, but they didn't put that on there, so the PJs would come in and their helicopters would be armed. But yeah, if you're listed as a non-combatant, you're not supposed to be armed, and you're also not supposed to be targeted. And tell that to the bad guys.
Yeah,
So
obviously.
this guy is going through a lot. He's seen a lot. He's putting himself in danger constantly. And he's the one that's seeing the worst of it because he has to go and try to help everybody that's been wounded.
Right. Yeah, and he's just having his moment right now. There's nothing
He
against him at
earned
all.
it. Like, let him
he
have
earned
that
it,
moment.
and he just needs a break. He's physically, mentally overstimulated about everything that he's having to cope with. And I'm telling you, that happened to everybody. I had moments myself where I was just not doing well and did not feel confident in myself, and just time pulled me through it. And it's like I got past it, and then all of a sudden I'm riding a high because I'm starting to make good decisions, and now I'm starting to feel that confidence come back. It's just waves.
Yep.
It happens. So
We're in a dell.
Dell? Like where fairies and gnomes live?
Yeah.
I swear I thought I could smell a fire. I did smell a fire. Are you out of your mind?
Oh, we're in a dell.
Huh?
I love that scene because it's like, we know Captain Winters is the most tactically proficient dude on the planet, but everyone has their limits.
Yeah.
And it's so cold and they just want to be warm just a little bit. So it's like every one of them is like, this is a really bad idea as they come in and start warming their hands. And it's just like that little bit of like happiness from that little bit of warmth. And they were willing to give up all tactical responsibility. And unfortunately, they paid the price for it.
Just a little bit of break from their reality.
Yes.
Just for a split second.
They just like warm up as they're about to put it out. I guarantee Captain Winter was like 3 more seconds and I'm stomping this thing out. And then it was too late.
Hey, but they were in a dell.
They're in a dell. They taught us in SEER school how to dig fire so they can't be seen for situations like this.
Yeah.
And you dig a hole.
What's it called?
You dig a hole down. You essentially dig a U. So you have to dig a hole down into the ground so your fire is completely underground. And then you have to dig another hole that connects to your fire so that way air could feed into it. So the air could feed in, it gets fed, and then you could take the heat from the first hole. So you just essentially dig like a little U and then do a fire at the bottom of it. Honestly, the reason they probably didn't do that here is because the ground's frozen as shit.
Yeah.
So it would take them hours to try and dig the perfect pit for that.
They just wanted a little bit of reprieve.
Right.
Just a little bit of warmth to get those fingers warmed up and then put it out.
Yeah, just a moment of
Never got
weakness, and I am be 100% honest with you, I would have been right there, warming my hands, going, "This is a bad idea, guys.
Yeah,
this is really bad. We should put this out right now. We should put
Hold
this
on,
out."
not yet.
Oh,
Okay,
by the way,
okay,
good. And unfortunately, they didn't have a chance, and they got hit. So very real scene. I thought that was an awesome scene.
Yeah, I like that.
I love that they had Captain Winters join them too, because of all the people, he's like the most tactically proficient.
Yeah. But yeah,
Dude's
he
a
was willing
tactical
to let it
genius.
slide.
Yeah. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that episode. There's another one. Unfortunately, we're almost done.
With Band of Brothers,
With
yeah,
Band
man.
of Brothers. What is it? 10 episodes?
Something like that, yeah.
And we're already on 7.
Unfortunately, almost done, but
Damn.
we've done a little bit of the Pacific. We now have Masters of the Air, which has come out, which is a phenomenal show. If you haven't watched that one yet,
So luckily, we have a lot of good stuff to do still. But I'm gonna be perfectly honest. It's the day we do the last Band of Brothers is gonna be a sad day.
Yeah.
Because we've really like drawn this out, and you guys are like, "Do Band of Brothers, get it done." It's like, yeah, but we don't want to get it done. Like that's the sad part about it. Is like we love this show. It's such a good show. It does great on the channel. You guys love it. Everybody loves it. And the day that we hit episode 10, it's gonna be kind of sad because we can't go back to it.
Yep.
So hope you enjoyed that episode. Fortunately, we're almost done with them, but another banger in the books.
There you go.
Tell us what you guys want to see down in the comments. Tell us what you guys think about our comments down in the comments. And for all you guys that are like, I get a lot of comments that are like, "This isn't a react, it's a critique." And it's like, okay. You have 2 Green Berets with their tactical experience watching this in order to critique shows.
Don't twist our words against us.
Right. We're not just going to sit here and be like, "Well, that was good." Like, that's not helping anybody.
I give it 2 stars.
At the end of the day, this channel is about education, using our experience to help people, entertain people. And part of that is critiquing things in order so you guys can find some kind of value out of it outside of just talking about how good or bad a show was. So hope that clears it up for the 1 or 2 of you that make some snarky comments. But other than that, we'll see you guys on the next one.